Oh, hey Andy, good evening. Good to see you here about our FIFA agent exam registration deadline. Special edition, Andy. Can you believe that? How you doing?
Oh,
Okay?
yeah, all good. Thanks, John. Good evening. Really excited for what we've got for the guys today. Can't wait to get going.
And me as well. Okay, good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming along to our special edition. I'll say that again, special edition webinar about our FIFA agents exam registration deadline. It'll take us a couple of minutes to get everybody on board. I can see just now there's over 300 people, and that makes it difficult for us to answer everybody's questions. So Andy will be, if you want to ask a question in the chat line, Andy will answer the question. Andy McIver is an agent with our company, has been for the last couple of years, and he's passed the test. So he'll be giving you all the wee secrets about how to help you pass the test as well. So if you could put your name in the box, and here's a wee thing while we're waiting for everybody to join, because as I say, we've got hundreds of people here. What team do you support? Come on, let's have 2 minutes of fun. Put your name in and what team you support in the chat line. Let's see who we are. Right, there we've got Adam. Adam's an Arsenal fan. Good to see you, Adam. Good to see you here tonight. Then we've got Andrea. Who do you support, Andrea? Chelsea. Oh, Jesus, two English ones right away. Good to see you. So put your name and who you support in the chat box, and then we'll take it from there before we get everybody here registered. Okay. Okay, good to see people here. Some shout outs: Neil Davis, Farham Hussein, Abdulaziz Ball, Abu Bakr, Adam Tazima. I could go on and on. Afzal, Andrew Blackie, Andrew Parody. Look, good to see you all. I can't shout everybody's names. Over 300 people here. So, what team do you support? Let's give us a wee wave to say that you're here and you're happy. Okay, good stuff. Okay. I'd like to start this evening on a serious note. Tonight, I'm going to tell you in the next 45 minutes, that your next 45 minutes, you're going to learn what it really takes to become a football agent and become an industry licensed football agent, how to ace this football agent's exam. So where are you just now? Why are you on why are you on this webinar? And I speak to lots of people that are coming into this industry. You know, some people are looking for a change of job. Some people are just interested in football. Some people are thinking, you know what, there's a bit more to me, and I'd rather move from where I am to where I want to be. And hopefully, after this webinar, you'll be one of the ones, or a few of the people, who'll be getting their license and becoming a fully fledged football agent, where you can be travelling the world, dealing with famous footballers, getting great satisfaction out of looking after football players. And of course, if you do that honestly and transparently, the money comes in abundance. So, if that's where you are, let's talk about why you become a football agent. Why? I think it's quite simple. It's a dream job. I myself have been doing it for over 30 years, and I love the job that much. I hardly even know what day it is. I wake up every morning with abundance of energy thinking, what can I do today to help me become a better agent? And working in football, I'm sure you're here because you love football and have a passion for it. And I use the word satisfaction quite a lot in these webinars. Why? Because if you're getting a job that you're getting great satisfaction, it won't feel like a job. It'll just feel about a career, about something that you really, really enjoy. And again, we'll be talking about the freedom it gives you, where nobody's telling you what to do. And as I said, getting that great satisfaction. And if you do the job right and you are successful, and it will give you, for sure, financial freedom. And of course, there's a lifestyle that's attached to that. So why would you want to become an agent just now? So why are all you people out there? Omar, and I'm looking at some of the names here. Damien McGinley from Ireland. Why would you want to become a football agent? Well, FIFA changed the regulations in 2015. In the new 2013 regulations, there was an exam that came on board. An exam is now once a year. And we're speaking tonight about a special edition because on the 17th of April, just a couple of days from now, the registration deadline is finished. You can no longer register, and we're going to talk about that a bit later. And one of the beautiful things just now, and some of the good things that came out of COVID, is people are accepting to be doing business remotely. And again, we'll talk about that a wee bit later. And of course, if you know anything about football, the growth that's happened in football has been unbelievable in the last number of years. So, also, why now? Well, for me, one of the biggest reasons is the increase in global service fees. And what do I mean by that? Well, if in 2022 there was 283 million in commissions paid out, and if you take it even in 22, sorry, in 23, it's 667 million. That's a good reason to be getting involved with this business. So, who am I? Who am I to be talking to you and telling you about becoming a football agent? Well, my name's John Viola, and I've been in this business for over 30 years. I come from a working class background. I think I've done every job you can imagine, from selling newspapers to working in a pub, working in a community centre, worked on building sites. But I managed to break into a really interesting business, financial services, and I really loved that business. But I knew there was more to me. There was more thinking, right, what's my next step? What's my next part of my journey in life? And I was advising footballers, and that got me interested in being a football agent. And here I am. It says there 25 years. Believe it or not, this is making into my 35th year as a football agent. And I was one of the first FIFA registered football agents in the UK. And I've dealt with many, many famous footballers, 4 or 5 World Cup winners, over 20. I've worked in 20 countries, and I get a bit of stick, but that's somebody that we've done business with, which is Louis Figo, when I mention his name. Okay, so why did I become an agent? Well, maybe a bit like you. My career was going through a period I was thinking, stagnating a bit. And I felt there must be more to me. And I loved football. I loved going to watch it. I loved it. And I thought I'd love to get into that industry. And then I seen a friend that became an agent, and I thought, that looks exciting. I think I'll look into that. And then I thought, why can't I try it? Now, believe it or not, when I went to become an agent, I had to give FIFA £100,000 bond for 5 years. I had to pass a test and get interviewed with the local FA. So if you think it's difficult just now, well, it was a bit more difficult then. And I made it happen, okay? And then when I made it happen, I had to bring on some help. And here's my nephew, Phil McTaggart, who's been an agent since he's been 21. And I was told to put this picture up. I know it looks terrible. Look at me with the big, stupid black moustache. And there's Phil is a Liverpool supporter with that old strip. I don't know if anybody remembers that old strip, the old Liverpool strip. And here we are, not just recently in Saudi Arabia, doing deals, and we've travelled the world together doing business. And who are we? Well, our company's called 451 Football Consultancy. Well, as I said, we've worked with World Cup and Champions League winners. We've broke transfer records in the UK, broke wage records for Premier League clubs. We've took players from Real Madrid to the English Premier League, and many, many more. But guys, sorry about that. That's enough about us. This isn't about us. It's about you. So we started just like you, only it was much harder in the past. And when people say, who can become an agent? Everyone and anyone can become an agent that's passionate. You can break into this industry an awful lot easier. However, you need you need the support of education. And of course, as we're going to speak about tonight, you need to have a FIFA license. And we're going to pass on as much experience over 40, 50 years between me and Phil's experience. And every time that we do one of these webinars, there's someone comes out of it at the other end to become a successful football agent. More than one in a lot of occasions. When we've got over 300 people, well, I'm going to tell you there'll be more than one or two coming out of that. And this is all through our unique industry tested program. So what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about quite a lot of things. We're going to talk about the practicalities of the job, and we're going to talk about how to pass exam. So when we're talking about the practicalities, we talk about the 3 main pillars you need to become an agent. We could be here all night if I went into them all in detail, so I'm just going to simplify them. You need to be able to recruit talented players. You need to be able to deal with football clubs, and you have to understand that this is a worldwide business. And more importantly, you have to, You have to register and pass the FIFA exam. And the deadline is the 17th. Here's someone here saying, on thanks, a guy called Mr. Austin. To speak positively of John, I'm looking at the messages here just now. He gave me the skill set while working in football. I now have a good contacts at big clubs in England, Scotland, Argentina, Brazil, Italy, JP Austin, and the Netherlands, because John tutored and, what did it say there? Or refined me as it to be much more professional. Thanks very much for that, Mr. Austin. So you have to register and pass the FIFA exam. But we're going to go into that in a great detail a bit later. And here's some other messages here. Joe's a Heart Midlothian supporter, and then we've got Barry in the Borders as a Newcastle fan. I just like a wee shout out. And of course, here we've got greetings from Romania, and it's asking us about Romanian football agents. I've got a few friends that are Romanian football agents, and they're good guys. Okay, so much more we're going to talk about how to pass that exam, but let's crack on. When we talked about Pillar 1, we spoke about identifying and recruiting talented football players. Let's make it straight from here, from right now. You would well go off this webinar if you don't know that you have to be able to recruit and identify football players to make it work for you in this business. If you can't find them, you can't scout them, you can't get yourself in front of them, and you can't get them into your agency or who you're going to go and work for or work with us, whatever it may be, this won't work for you. So remember right now, one of the key components is you have to be able to recruit talented football players. So let's talk a little bit about what the misconceptions are in player recruitment, because a lot of people don't really understand about recruitment. A lot of people say to me, John, you can't get access to footballers. They say, oh, there's not enough footballers that are looking for agents. And somebody said to me the other week, wow, it's impossible to sign a footballer. I mean, I've just started in this business. Or some people always say, oh, but it's okay for you, John. You've got decades of experience and you've got lots of time, you and Phil. It's okay for you. But we started just like you with all these misconceptions. We used to think that. But let me tell you what really happens in the real world. There are millions of players worldwide. And let me explain something. When one player retires, there's another 20 that want to try and get in and become a player. So there will always be a turnaround of footballers. And when I first started, I was worried about speaking to players, and so a lot of my new students. But I'm going to tell you, they're open for football agents. Most players, when they start to become successful, or even very young, and they know that there's a good future ahead of them, they'll be reaching out to you and reaching out to players. And they value the main thing that they look for in a new agent is honesty, transparency, integrity. And it's built on relationships, not on experience. You can get a good relationship with a player, there's a good chance he will work with you. Here's just a young guy that came onto our course many years ago, Jordan Allen, and he networked effectively using the knowledge that we provided him. And now he's working in Championship, Premier League, and players all over Europe. And he was just a young lad at 24, 25 when he started. And there's actually an article about him saying about how he started in the business in his local newspaper. So if we get to the truth, well, the truth is, if you've got the right people round about you, giving you the right information and knowledge and training, you can recruit footballers. And we're going to show you how to do that. So I'd like to give a wee 2-second break and give a shout out to, what do you call it, for some people here. We've got IK Bright, he's from Nigeria. We've got Thomas now Savonzi here, a chartered accountant, Liverpool fan and watching from London. Good to see you. And a wee shout out to Omar Berkasar, he's from Mexico. He says he doesn't support a team. That's quite right, interesting. And Max is saying he's really enjoying this. I'm happy for you, Max. Good. That's really most important thing about this webinar is you just take on board what we're saying and understand about what the job is really all about, and hopefully about the FIFA exam a bit later on. So the truth is, with the right knowledge and the right training, you can make it in this business. The second thing we are going to tell you about is dealing with top level clubs. Now, let's talk about the misconception about dealing with football clubs. You know, some people say it's impossible to find contacts at clubs. Another guy said to me, "Wow, I couldn't phone a club. The club officials are intimidating." That word gets used quite a lot, intimidating. And some people say, "Oh, you only can only deal with your local clubs, or they don't work like normal businesses." I've heard all these things saying it's really hard to get to football clubs. People don't want to talk to you. Well, the real world, clubs aren't closed shops. If you've got a good player, clubs will want to speak to you. They need players and their doors are open. And believe it or not, they're just people like you and I that are working at football clubs who want to speak to you. And it's easier to build lasting relationships with clubs. And the way that I've done it is just go and speak to them. That's like the way I'm speaking to you, especially if you've got what we call quality players. This is all about having quality players. So here's a wee case study. Our friend Andrew Stott was just starting out a few years ago. He was in the building business, and he was really concerned about making contacts. But we taught him how to do it professionally and research the right contact people. He used LinkedIn quite a lot, and he spoke to the club about his players, and his relationships are continuing today. And let me give you a wee example of that player he's with. Is a player called Ayo, who came from non-league in England. He brought him to a club called Queen of the South in Scotland, took him to a club called Livingston, where you're at now. Where is he now plying his trade? China. And that has been a fantastic story for a guy who came on our course not that long ago. So here's the truth. The truth is, if you've got the correct expertise in how to deal with clubs, it's maybe more positive than what you think and easier than what you think. And if you can create working relationships like you're probably doing in your own job just now, we can guide you into the right area to go. So a wee break, because I tell you what, this is thirsty, this business. Let me tell you, I'd like to ask everybody a question, and if a few people could maybe put in the answers in. Who do you think makes the decisions at the club? Let me ask a question. You're sitting right now with a good player, a good quality player, and you're thinking, right, I'm going to phone the club, this particular club, who I know that looking for a player in that position because either somebody's told you or you've done your research. Who do you think, and put it in the chat box just now, who do you think you would be asking to speak to at that club? Give me your answers in the chat box and we'll just speak about that. So somebody's saying, Brian's saying scouts, Francis is saying club owners, Abu Bakr is saying sporting directors, head of recruitment, coaches, sporting director, George is saying, Benedict is saying, what's Benedict saying, sporting directors, quite a lot for sporting director of football, head of recruitment, David Marshall saying, and of course we've got Max is saying the coach. Okay, great answers, guys, and thanks for coming on and telling us what. And there's hundreds of people putting in. Sporting director seems to be the favourite, right? But when we're talking about that and we put that list up there, who would be the decision makers? Who do you think it would be? I'm going to tell you that it's none of any of not one in particular. It could be one of them or all of them. And let me tell you, when I first started, I used to always phone the manager or the coach. I was thinking, surely he makes the decisions about the players. But in this current climate, it could be the manager. A lot of the times it's head of recruitment. Most of the times it's sporting directors. If you take Liverpool, that's a transfer committee that makes the decisions. Head scouts are quite strong at a lot of clubs. And sometimes the owner says, I'm making the decision, it's my money. Or sometimes it's a combination of the owner or the head of recruitment or the sporting director. So never fall for the old, oh, it's definitely going to be, like I did, the manager. Do your research. Find out who's making the decisions, and that's who you should contact. Otherwise, if you're going to, for instance, the head scout all the time and he's not making the decisions there, then you may be wasting your time. And in this business, you have to be you have to be a bit of a detective to find out who's making the decisions. And that's who you should go to. Because I said before, I wasted a lot of time and a lot of energy going to managers who I thought made the decisions, and they don't all make the decisions. Right. Here's Abraham. He says the manager who gets the last word. That's a good one. That's interesting. And then, of course, Ian Cook, he's saying the chief executive. It's not a wee shout for you there, Ian. Okay, so the next pillar I'd like to speak about briefly is operating globally in the transfer market. What do I mean by that? Well, this isn't just about whether you're in the UK or whether you're in Nigeria or whether you're in Venezuela or Germany or whatever it may be. This is about doing this business worldwide. And people talk to me about the misconceptions about trying to do the business worldwide. People say to me, look, if you go around the world, people can't speak the potential language barriers. You'll have problems speaking to people. You need to be on planes constantly. You need to know the foreign countries really well. Or if you go to certain countries, they'll only want to deal with their own countrymen. Well, here's the real world. The language of business is English, and most people all around the world, at the higher levels of football clubs that where I've been, 95% of the people can speak English. Now, they might not be able to understand my Scottish accent sometimes, but they speak English. And of course, you can operate internationally from the comfort of your office. And what do I mean by that? Well, before COVID, a lot of people wanted to meet you face to face. But after COVID, with the advent of Zoom, and here I am speaking to over 300 people in 20 odd countries all around the world, wherever it may be, people are accepting that you can say, look, tell you what it is, I can't get on a plane, but I'll meet you on Zoom. And they're accepting about having a chat like this. And that's been a positive thing that's come out of the coronavirus. So you can do business internationally from the comfort of your office, just like it's like the way I'm speaking to you right now. And you can work with partners who guide you in foreign markets. What do I mean by that? Well, there's lots of countries that have got different rules and different ways that they operate. And for me, on a lot of occasions, when I'm going to somewhere that's really obscure or difficult to do business, I bring in a local partner, and that's a good piece of advice. And believe it or not, foreign football markets are open all around the world for everybody. They're not sitting saying we only want to deal with people from our country. What do they want? Quality players. And as long as you can recruit quality players, as I keep coming back to that, teams all over the world will want to speak to you. So I'll give you a wee case study, but as I could see, there's emerging markets happening in Venezuela. And I met a student in London, and he happened to have, this is a long time ago, 15 years ago, he had two players from Venezuela. And I took these two players, two international players, down to Saudi Arabia. And most of the work that I'd done, from speaking to the young Venezuelan student in London to speaking to the clubs in Venezuela, speaking to the clubs in Saudi Arabia, it was all done like this. And the only time I had to do the business was when I turned up, and here I am doing the deal 15 years ago, maybe more than that, with a player called Gelman Rivas, who was a Venezuelan international. But most of the groundwork was done just like the way I'm speaking to you. So here the truth is that the internet has opened up and globalized this business. You can do it from the way I'm speaking to you at a desk. And of course, multiple countries, and we're here to show you how it's done. Okay, next thing I'd like to just talk about is, people say that's all good, but how do I get paid for it? And what type of money do I get paid? Now, here's just some examples I'd like to talk about. And these examples are based on the English Sky Bet League One, the English Championship, and the Premier League. And I'm basing this on 5% commission. I know there's a bone of contention just now about 5% and 3% commission, but I'm basing it on old figures of 5%. So let's assume you break into this business and you have a player and he's in Sky Bet League One. And maybe a lot of you will know what the level is like at Sky Bet League One, because quite a lot of people from the UK on this webinar at the moment. So for me, the average weekly wage is £5,000. What does that actually mean that you would earn? Well, it means if you had a player in the Sky Bet League One and you had 5%, you would earn 13,000 per year. Remember, most contracts are 2, 3, 4 years. Unless you're Chelsea, they try to have it a bit more, as you know. But it's normally 2, 3, or 3 years with an option. So that means for 3 years, if you'd one player, you would earn an average of 13,000. Let's assume you step up and you've got into the business, and it takes a bit of time. It doesn't happen. This isn't a get rich quick scheme. This is about learning a new business alongside your existing job until such times as you can transition. And let's assume that you've got a player in the Sky Bet Championship, and that's good to have a player at that level. The average wage there, and don't believe what you hear, people getting 100,000 or whatever in the championship. The average wage is 29,000. What does that mean to you? That means that every year that he's in that contract, you would earn 75,400. Not bad money for having one player in the English Championship, one average player. Now let's talk about if you hit the jackpot and you take a player to the English Premier League. In the Premier League, the average wage is 60,000. Of course, you hear people who are talking about 200,000, 400,000, and they're a small percentage. In the Premier League, the average wage is 60,000. Now, these sources I'm telling you are a wee bit a while ago, but they're from the Daily Mail and Reuters. Not me telling you. 60,000 is the average wage. So what does that mean to you? If you had one player in the English Premier League, you would earn £156,000 for every year he's playing in it at that club. Now, that's you getting to the top and the pinnacle, and many people that I've taught have got to that level. So even if it was a case of getting started at the lower levels and having 3 or 4 or 5 of them and one in the championship, you can see that the type of income that you can earn in this business. So that's the rewards. But none of that means anything, means nothing. Before you can do any of that we've spoke about, finding players and dealing with clubs, you need to pass and get your FIFA license. And we're here to speak about that in particular. Okay, so let's go to the background. When I started, as you know, I had to put £100,000 down testing an interview. Wow, I can't even remember where I got that money from, except I borrowed some of it from my sister, and to this day she still says that I owe her, quite right. And then in 2000, they scrapped the bond and then introduced an exam. And then in 2015, they scrapped the exam and you only needed just to make a fee. And then they realised that that wasn't happened. And in 2023, they brought in a stringent exam was brought in. And this exam is only once a year. It used to be twice. And it's now online. You can do it from home. We'll talk about that. Before it used to be in a centre, like if it was England, it was Wembley, or it might have been your hometown or one of the big events or the big stadiums. So it's only once a year, and this is your last chance. Otherwise, it's going to be another 14 months before you can sit the test. And that's why we're here to say this is a special webinar for you. And it's online. We're going to speak about that as well, about how you'll be able to sit at home at your comfort and do the exam. So what is this exam actually all about? I'm sure a lot of you know, but I'll go through it again because I know I've spoke to some of you guys out there and girls. It tests your knowledge about the football agent regulations and wider FIFA regulations. It covers over 808 pages, 808 pages currently of study materials. There's 20 questions, multiple choice, and you get 1 hour to answer the questions. These questions can be just a direct question or be case studies, testing your potential application of what the regulations are all about. It's open book. Before you used to be able to take in the actual book, the paperwork, you're not allowed to do that anymore. It's a digital PDF that you can use with your FIFA study materials. And you can refer to that during your sitting. So when you're sitting doing the test, you can have your PDF and you can be able to use a digital PDF to be able to check answers and check some materials. And as I said, it's online with, and then this is the part that a lot of people have been asking about, protective measures to make sure there's no foul play. And we'll go into that a wee bit later. Okay, so what's next? Well, here's the procedure. How do you get registered? Well, the first thing is this Thursday, you need to have a registration in, otherwise you can't sit the test. How do you do that? You create an agent's platform account on a FIFA account, right? Secondly, you complete your license application to see whether you fit in. And, if you've got any crime record against you, then you've got a problem. They'll ask a number of questions. Then they'll tell you whether you're eligible to be able to sit the test. Then you'll be choosing an online sitting time slot, and then you'll pay a small fee. And this is a procedure. It takes time. You need to be patient. The most important thing for everyone here who's serious about doing this, and I will say to everybody here, only if you're serious should you go through this procedure. Create the platform, complete the license application. I'll wait till you find out you've got verification and that's you got that green tick and that's you ready to go and sit the test. They'll send you an online sitting time slot and you pay a small fee. Hopefully everybody has got that. So the FIFA exam deadline is a registration hotline is something that we have, and we'll be talking about that in a bit later. But here's some of the things that we were talking about in the office the other day here. What are the main tips that you need to be able to pass this? Well, simple to say, you need to study as much as you can. There's a lot involved in it. I've had people who think I'll pass this easy, and unfortunately, it's not an easy test. So you have to study, study, and study more. Second part, when I've been saying to people when they come off this test, well, what was it? Why did you fail it? It's because they didn't read the question. The entire question has to be read thoroughly. And if you don't read that thoroughly, well, I'm going to tell you just now, you'll fail it because that's what seems to be where most people are getting caught out. And of course, using the F control, that's your friend. What do I mean by that? Well, that's a control that you can use to be able to go into a separate browser to be able to look up a PDF about what these 800 and odd pages. Now, when you're doing that, and we were talking about this the other day as well, when we put in the word agent, because you look at a specific agent and a question, there was over 500 and odd pages, different pages. So you've got to try and get to a specific the wording that's going to help you to get less pages to be able to get to help you answer the question. One of the biggest things that people have said to me that how they're passed is they've utilised the power of elimination. So what do I mean by the power of elimination? Well, when you're looking at these questions, the answers come up. There's normally a couple that are complete nonsense. You just eliminate them right away, and say, right, fine. Those definitely not those two. I'll concentrate on the other two, whatever it may be. And that will help you get through it quicker because a lot of and the next thing is focusing on timing and pacing because a lot of this is about many people who have got so carried up in the actual test that failed because they've ran out of time. And the way that we've been telling people is have a strategy, have a plan. And part of the plan is to get rid of the easy answers quickly, get rid of them out of the way, and then move on to the ones that you think that you need to spend time on. Because there's some questions that only take a short period of time because they're easy answers. Get rid of them right away. You've got 3 minutes for each test time. And rather than going 20 questions at 3 minutes, concentrating 3 minutes on one, get rid of the easy ones quickly and focus on your timing and have a strategy. It's important to have a strategy, and we talk about a lot about that within our courses. Okay, but you'll need a lot more than just these tips we're giving you. Uh, you'll need a lot of studying. You'll need, and we can give you tips all day long, but the fundamental part is the more you only get out of a garden what you put into it. If you spend a lot of time on this, you should pass it. It's not quite, it's quite interesting when somebody says, oh, he was lucky he passed the test. But the lucky ones, I normally phone them up and say, how much time did they spend? And they spend a lot more time than the other ones that didn't pass the test. So, question is, here's what I'd like to ask a wee question. Give me a wee bit of G up here. Are you enjoying the webinar so far? Give me a number one in the chat box if you're enjoying the webinar so far. Number one in the chat box. Oh, I love it. Look at all these number ones. Gary, Christopher, Patrick, hey, Jefferson. Plenty of ones. Good. It means we're on the right track. The most important thing is that you're enjoying it, you're understanding it, and hopefully it's something that's going to take you to the next level. Okay, so I'd just like to spend a couple of minutes talking about this guy, right? This is one of the first guys that I ever mentored. And the background was that he asked me to help him in his business, and so enthusiastic, desperate to leave his existing job, and I went through the whole mentoring period with this guy. And of course, he he came to a period of about 14 months into the business, and him and I done a deal with Birmingham City Football Club, and he left his job. He's actually he was a mortgage advisor, and he left his job and became a fully fledged football agent. And I remember the satisfaction I saw on his face that day about him quitting a job that he hated. And that was a day that I thought to myself, this is about 8 years ago. That was a day that I thought to myself, wow, by the way, I love teaching this guy. And have you ever had a time in your life where a light bulb comes on? I said, well, why don't I start a new company, a separate company of teaching people how to become football agents? Because not only did I enjoy it, not only was I passing on great knowledge to this guy, it was actually a business as well because I earned good commission on doing that first deal. And we're still doing deals together. His dream was to take a player to Manchester United. Uh, and as you can see here, one of his players now is a player called Odion Agallo, who he took from Watford. In fact, he started at Granada, then took him to Watford, and then took him down to China, took him on loan to Manchester United, and then took him to not one, not two, but three Saudi Arabian clubs. So start working out, looking at those commissions that he's earned, and he's actually doing okay. He's got players in the Premier League, champions, the Championship, Serie A. He's a very successful young man, and I'm proud to have mentored him. And him and I are still doing business. And here's Odin Agallo, I think a wee while ago on Twitter saying, "Good guys, good job, John. Thanks for that, Odin. Good. He's a really nice guy and a humble person who's made it successful as an agent. I'm talking about Laddie and also the player. So that gives an indication that he just worked as a not just as a mortgage advisor, and look where he is today. So so let's talk about how we can help you become a FIFA license agent. For us, we're teaching you how to do the job right, practical. I'm going to talk about the practicalities of the job, and we're going to talk about the licensing. When we're talking about, there's no sense in having the license, guys and girls. There's no sense in you getting that license unless you know what the practicalities of the job is. So we put together, and I say we, we're a family business. I think most people know that. We take pride in what we do. There's myself, my nephew Phil, and my son Johnny, who's the top man. He's the operations director. He's the man in the background that makes all this happen. And our revolutionary online training system is designed to show you and teach you how to know how to do this business professionally correctly. It's unique and groundbreaking. It teaches new agents how to do the business right, and it helps you get into the business. It helps you break in. I mean, without some type of education and training and courses, this will be an extremely difficult job. And it also helps you to enter the business quickly. It fast tracks you, and it help you get towards starting in the business. So I'll briefly go through what's in that because it would take us to a long time into the evening and I know some of you want to see the start of the Champions League. It would take you a long time to be able to for us to go through everything, but I'll try and get through it. What's on that course? Well, when you pass your exam, you're going to have to learn, apart from the theory part, which is in the exam, you're going to have to learn what the job is really all about. And we've put together a simple, practical course. We call it our pro course. And these are the types of modules that are in it. How to find a player. We spoke about that. That's paramount. If you can't find a player, you don't have a business. Then, of course, you need to be able to recruit them. They need to buy into who you are. We teach you how to do that. This module will give you the confidence of recruiting players after you've done this module. How to deal with football clubs. We spoke about that. You need to be able to have a bit of sales and be able to market yourself and the player. So we have a particular module that goes through what you should be saying to clubs, how you market yourself, especially online these days. People talk about transfers windows. There's more than one window throughout this period. People normally just talk about June, July, August, or maybe the January window, but there's windows open the whole year round. The process of a deal is a really, really important module because how do you start a deal? What do you do going through trying to make it work? Because you need to be part of that. And how do you finish a deal? It's a really, really important part of the practicalities of learning about the job. A lot of players need help with relocation. We have a module that takes you through how you take people through the professionalism of relocating them. And here's something I advocate. There's some agents, other agents on here right now. I love working with other agents. From the first day I started in this business, I said my open-mindedness was if my player can do a deal with another agent, we're all in it together. The player comes first. So I've always opened up my agency, my ethos, and our business and how we work to work with other agents. Because if you can't find your player a club, another agent might, and you can share business. So we teach you how you can navigate to work with other agents. And of course, you have to be able to, once you get to a certain level, you have to be able to deal with the media. You need to be able to hold on to your player because if you've got a really good player, there'll be lots of other people who are trying to come in involved and take them away from you. A really important subject that we have is getting players out with the pitch, professional advice, financial advisors, lawyers, mortgage advisors, this type of thing. You have to have that as part of your repertoire. And we have a particular section that talks about that. You may want to be able to get sponsorship deals and being commercial with your player. And last but not least, you need to market yourself. People need to know who you are when you're coming into this business. So this particular course, it's only approximately 10 to 15 hours of e-learning open for a year. It's so effective that some people have done this course and says, right, that's enough for me. I want to be an agent. But obviously, you have to be able to fulfill these tasks and do them. So at the end of that, we give you a certificate to say that you've actually got involved with us and went through our course, our pro course, and it's a unique verified certificate from us. Some people have used that to help them get jobs in the past. Companies have phoned us and said, did this guy do his course with you? And every single person we know by name. So that's what you get at the end of that. Here's the next part we're going to talk about. Introducing the FIFA Agents Exam course. Right. So when we looked at these 800 pages, we went, wow, there's a lot in that. Could you imagine looking at 800 pages of regulation? And we thought, how are we going to help people with that? Well, I looked at it with my partner Phil, had been in the business a long time. We brought our FIFA agent Nathan Chambers in, as a specialist in to look at the 800 pages and a course creation professor from a university in England. And we decided, why don't we get round a table and try and make this particular, these 803 pages of regulation more simple, more interactive, the areas you should be studying more than others. And we have come up with what we call the JVA FIFA's exam course. Now, we teach you how to learn the full logistics of the FIFA exam. There's a lot involved in it. I mean, some people look at these 800 pages and think, right, I can do this myself, but not many. You need support, you need assistance, you need some type of course. And if it's not our course, please, my advice to you is go and look at courses, albeit ours is the best in the marketplace. And of course, it teaches you where we answer hundreds of regulation-based revision questions. Remember, we have now got the benefit of seeing 4 tests, and we know how the FIFA are asking the questions, and we're going to be able to show you revision questions, practice exam FIFA prep assessments, and of course, we're going to test your ability with authentic questions from FIFA exam. We'll give you test papers for you to try, authentic ones for you to be able to try and build up so that you can get close to that 15 out of 20 or the 75% you need to pass. And we have a specific part where we talk about students' experiences and people who talk about doing a job, doing the exam and what it's all about. And of course, we've got Andy here. Andy, before we go on to the next part, do you want to come on and tell them what it was like for you to be able to talk about doing the FIFA exam? Because I know you're hiding there in the background.
Sure, no problems. Look, I sat the exam now just under a year ago. It was May 2024. So a really up-to-date exam, and it was super difficult, guys. I've just come off the back of an undergraduate and doing a master's as well and got a distinction in that. So I'm well used to sitting exams. And that exam was extremely difficult. So look, without the professional help from John and Phil and Nathan, the lawyer, and all the questions and help that I got, that exam would have been extremely difficult. But because of that help, I got through it and passed first time. So it was a difficult test, as I say, but if you put the preparation in, and the time and the effort, and with the help of what we can provide, then for sure there's no reason why you can't go on and do that in just over 2 months' time.
Andy, thanks for that. So, apart from Andy, who'll be holding a lot of people's hands through this whole period of trying to help you pass exam, we also have monthly Zooms. We'll talk about that. And we're fully motivated for you to pass the exam because it's not just about the exam, it's about the full journey. Because if you know anything about us and our company, our whole business model is to teach you to pass the exam and then to go on as part of a journey with us and our company to share business. That's the most important part. So we're motivated. We actually know how much effort you're putting in. We also have an event a week before it, and we're having it in London. We'll talk about that later for the people who are maybe struggling or worried about trying to pass the exam. And of course, you have access to our company through email or WhatsApp if you're struggling throughout this period of doing the course. So we've got live recorded sessions and obviously further knowledge and advice is there at hand through who we are. I'd like to ask everybody a question if they could put it in. What do you think the pass rate is worldwide? You know, it's 20 questions, multiple choice, it's open book, it's done remotely. You've got all the information in front of you. You've got 1 hour, 20. What do you think the pass rate is? Let me just see what we're talking here. 25, 40, 80%. Somebody's saying, Mark Wadley saying 80%, 75%. Donald, Donald Rose is saying 40%. Donald, great to see you here. Great shout out all the way from the USA. Oh, Patrick, another man from the Patrick. Great to see you here. All the way from Florida. Fantastic to see you here today. You know the answer to this. I'm not going to shout out your answer. Wayne Stewart saying 75%. Ibrahim saying 75%. I'm going to tell you the actual pass rate is between 20 to 40%. Scary, isn't it? Now that's a scary part. Our pass rate, we're proud to say, and proud is over 80%. And I'll tell you why. Because I'll use the word again. We're motivated to get you to pass this test. Because if you don't pass the test, our business model of doing business with you doesn't work. So we're with you the whole way to make it happen. And what we want to see for you to happen is to get your name, and how beautiful that be when you've got your name on that license, having that golden ticket to speak to any club you want in the world, or being able to give you access legally to go and speak to footballers. What a beautiful position you'll be in. And that's what we're here to help you do. So we're going to talk about, together with these two courses, we call it our football agent formula. Now, I'm just going to spend a minute after this, but that's talking about the pro course and exam course, and that's the practicality, but what we call our football agent formula. And we'll be finishing the night talking about that. But this whole thing isn't about just a course. This is about a journey with our company, our family business, who in the last 8 years have introduced over 750 people into this industry at all different levels to be successful. And our post-license pathway to success takes into things like group mentoring, live events, we'll talk about a wee bit about that later, VIP mentoring, and we've got a couple of VIP mentoring people here on here tonight. How we teach you how to scout training, how we take you to recruitment boot camps. What does that mean? Basically, it means we open the world for you to be able to understand how you can get access to sign big players very quickly. And of course, a big part that a lot of new people need in this pathway to success is helping you to be able to collaborate with you to do deals. Because at the beginning, it can be very daunting to do your first deal. We're there to hold your hand to make sure that you're going to do it professionally and correctly. And here's just a couple of people that have made it. This lad, Zavadi Didibridze, believe it or not, he was a delivery driver. 4 years ago, he started with us, and he actually came to work with our agency. And I'm proud to say that only 3 months ago, started his own agency and has been extremely successful. And I think a lot of people might know this lad called Babatunde Elliott. He's on our website and he's a famous guy in the industry. He came to us many years ago and he's working alongside our agency. And Baba himself is still working as a surgeon. He's still one day he's a surgeon, the next day he's doing transfer business. Amazing. And Stephen Bray, and these are just some examples. We've got hundreds of these. As a sales professional now completing deals all over Europe. He's a lad that came to us years ago. He was a salesman in Liverpool, decided he wanted a change, and here he is now doing business and working alongside our company. And I would add, if anybody wants to go and look up our Trustpilot reviews, there's over 100 reviews there, and we've only opened that up recently for people who have put in what they've done in terms of working with us, doing our courses, and I would urge you at some stage to have a look at that. The Trustpilot reviews are true reflections of who our family business is and how transparent and how hard we work to get you into becoming a fully fledged agent. So that's what I would tell you. Have a wee look at that. So who's this program designed for? You're sitting there saying, is this for me? Is it really for me? Well, for me, it's for people who have the desire and the passion. When somebody says to me, I want to become an agent, I look into their eyes and say, really? Do you know that it's difficult? We don't sugarcoat it. It's a very hard business. It takes time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears. But wow, if you can make it, wow. Traveling the world, dealing with footballers, being in a situation where you're taking a player through his career, seeing him score his first goal, pulling on a captain's armband, scoring a hat trick, lifting a cup, pulling on that international shirt. And if it's Patrick, you'll imagine Patrick, I'm talking to you here in Florida, and he pulls on that Liverpool shirt and you're in the stand because I know you're a big Liverpool supporter. Could you imagine that? Just dream about that. Same as what Laddie, his dream was to take a player to Manchester United, and when he phoned me, he said, John, and I think he was going to cry on the phone, I'm taking my player to Manchester United, and I was so proud that was part of his journey. So think about that. If you've got the passion, and you've got the passion to see them pulling on that international shirt or just go and see their first game, every young player that we sign, I go to every one of their debuts, take pictures and videos, and the hope that they're going to go, I'm going to take them through the career. And the satisfaction you get out of that is second to none. So what's the reason why people don't get started? Because I'm telling you, some people think about the barriers. You still need a £100,000 bond. You need lots of expertise and thousands of contacts. You need to be 10 years in the business. And one of the big things we get is that the exam is difficult to pass. And it is. But we're here to make sure that you can pass that through our agent formula. And these will remove all these obstacles. So, are you ready to give us a number two? If you're ready to hear what our financial proposal is to help you to become a football agent. Number two, Gary Connor, Abdulaziz, Marvin, Andy McGill, Scott, Barry Gibson. Let me see. Andy, you don't need to put that in. You've already passed the test. No, you're answering a question. Kenneth, Peripil. Good. Let me tell you how we work this out. What value do you put on from maybe leaving from like Laddie, who was a mortgage advisor, into how successful he is just now? What value do you put on the lad from London, sorry, Liverpool, that was a salesman, who's now earning 5 times what he was earning as a salesman with more freedom and being in something that he really, really loves? What value do you put on that? And we thought long and hard. So this is the values that we put on what we do. We use our expertise and offer price points. The JVA football agent formula, the value of taking you from where you are to where you be. We talk about the football agent pro course, valuation 947. The FIFA agent exam course 799. We give you a bonus pack of 200 questions and live Zoom sessions with Nathan Chambers. Now the value of that is £3,543. Can I ask you to put a number 3 in the chat box if you think that is value, with a special live Zoom session with thing. Number 3. Okay. Marvin. Yeah. Garrett, Jerry. Number 3 to get your dream career. Damien. Thanks, Damien McGinley. Good to see you again. Kenneth. Yes. Yakubu. And of course, we've got Benedict. Of course. Well, guys, and girls, I'm going to give you great news. here. We're going to give you the football agent course free. We're going to give you the bonus of 200 questions free. The live Zoom sessions that are left with Nathan Chambers free. And the FIFA exam course only to pay $799. Put a number 4 in the chat box if you think that's value. Of course, hundreds of fours. I'm going to tell you, we had 99% of the people have stayed on here today because they realise that this is genuine and it's honest, and also, last but not least, it's of value. Good to see these fours. I can't. Chris Newbury, Max Hartley, Callum Steele, Mark Wardley, Benjamin 12s. I could go on and on and on. Okay, great to see you that you see this of value. So why do we provide the training? Why are you saying, why do we provide the training? And I want to make this abundantly clear. We want to give new agents the help that we never had. When I first started with Phil, nobody told us what to do, and we made so many mistakes. We want to pass on a legacy so that you'll be saying one day, you know what? These guys got me started in the business, and this is where I am now. And that's what I'm doing. I've been in this business 34 years. I want to make sure that there's people who have been taught through our agency and our JVA Academy all over the world and done professionally and ethically the way we work within our business. And that's already happening. And here's another thing. Not only are we getting great satisfaction of getting people to get their license and take them through 3-month programs, year programs, sometimes more than that. Some people have franchises, so much so that there's people all over the world who know who the John Viola Academy is, and we love it. So how does that work? What is our business model? Well, you complete the formula, you get licensed, and please, you get licensed. We help you recruit players and connect with our assistants. And when you get ready to do a deal, we're ready to hold your hand and do business together. This is our business model. It's about doing business together. It's about a journey. It's about being part of a team. It's about being part of a group of people who want to assist each other. And we want to share business as partners so that you don't go this alone. Because I think there's a statistic that people come into this industry that over 90% fail because they go into it alone. Because could you imagine this? You just passed your test, but where are you getting your first player from? You might be great at passing tests. What access are you getting to clubs? Who's going to give you the mentoring to take you through how to get to big clubs, to get to big teams? Who's going to give you the mentoring to find the right way to go about it? Well, you're staring at them, and that's us. But I'd like to thank everybody for coming along here tonight. And for everybody that's joined us here tonight, I want to give you something special. Tonight's price is £697 for the people that want to join. Now, that's because we have a deadline. The deadline's coming up. And why am I doing this? And why is JV Academy and my son Johnny and Phil, why are we doing this, and Andy? Because we want to bring in people into this business that we can teach going forward, because obviously there's more to this than just passing the test, and share business together and come to a community. And this community, I have to tell you, about a month ago, there was about 50 odd of us in London. People just starting, just like you, right through people who have been working with us for 8 years. And, you know, you've seen Babatunde earlier and Stephen and that were there. And people who have done lots of business, and we're there and shared ideas. We share connections. We talk about doing deals. It was all about doing deals in the summer. And this is part of how our ethos is. It's not just about coming on a course and then just leaving you. It's about going through the whole journey and sharing business. Put in a number 5 if that makes sense to you guys, because that's the most important thing for me. Okay, Andrew Young, Max Cook, Jefferson. Okay. Okay, amazing. So the FIFA exam deadline offer is for tonight only. It's for today. If you come back tomorrow, then you'll have to go back to the 799 price. But tonight it's for 697 to thank you for coming along, because we're creeping into the period of the Champions League and I want to go and watch it as well. All right. I may add, this is guaranteed. If you're not happy with our courses, we'll give you a 14-day satisfaction guarantee. That's how much we're comfortable about our pro course and our FIFA exam course. And of course, part of a bonus we're going to give you exclusive registration to our assistance hotline. if you enroll in the formula tonight. That's one of the extra bonuses. And here's our last bonus, which is amazing, is we're hosting an event in London a week before, and the first 10 people who come involved to enroll, they'll get a place, because that'll be oversubscribed, and we can only bring 50 people to that. And the first 10 people who subscribe to our academy offer to enroll will get a guaranteed place at that event, where we talk about exam advice direct from the experts. We'll have our FIFA lawyer and myself and Phil, group mock test activities, which is priceless, and help you network sessions after. But more importantly, is to get you over the line to pass that exam. So what I'd like you to do just now is to put in your visit JVA Academy, visit this, put this in your browser right now, jvacademy.net/offer to enroll now. jvacademy.net/offer to enroll now. And as soon as you've done that, and if you're in the first 10, you'll be guaranteed to be a place at our live exam preparation event is one of the places, because we'll be well oversubscribed. You can see there's over 300 people on this just now. So put in jvacademy.net/offer. And now I want to talk about how we can do business together. We're going to finish this by asking, is there any questions? Any questions you want to ask? We're going to spend a bit of time talking about anything that you're concerned about. Okay, Nick's already signed. He says, I'm in. Nick, enroll now. Jefferson, he's enrolled already. And then someone saying, Bartes wants to speak to someone else, please. That's something else. Okay. Any questions you'd like to ask? Emmanuel saying, I have not registered yet. That's why we'll give you the information about registering when you enroll. You should be registering tonight. As soon as you're going ahead, you should be registering. That's a good question. Andrew Young saying, how are FIFA going to police the FIFA agent exam without it being online? With it being online, what about the use of AI? Well, we don't really know, because we're hearing that you have to take your phone and the camera will be on you when you're doing the test. If they see someone else in the room, then you'll get disqualified. There'll be a certain amount of invigilators who will be looking at so many people. We don't really know, because it's not been done online yet, so we're guessing quite a lot of it. But we'll soon find out after the 18th how that went. So here's another question. Okay, there's somebody saying, how difficult is the exam? I mean, we're not saying it's easy. You have to be studying from now till the 18th and putting in time and effort and assistance with us as well. Jefferson saying, no questions, I'm ready. Okay, Jefferson, go to jvacademy.net/offer. Hopefully you'll be one of the first ones. Okay, Max is saying he's nervous. Max Hattersley, what are you nervous about, Max? Come on, tell us. And of course, somebody who's already, downloaded the details, says he's just covered the statutes, and that's Nicola. Of course, here's the one. Do I have time between now and then to do this exam? If you put in the time and the effort, for sure, you've got a good chance of being able to pass this exam. When is the exam? Someone's asked, maybe you missed. The exam is on the 18th of June. The 18th of June. Somebody maybe missed that. Okay. Max is saying he's considering about doing it again. Don't know what happened there. Paid and signed off. Can't wait to get started. That's Jaden Murphy. Jaden, congratulations. Looking forward to working with you going forward. Okay. Tamsin saying, that's great. Thanks a lot, sir. I'm in. Well, here's a good question. What if I don't, and who's asking this question? Isram. Is it Isram Lakabi? What if I don't pass the test the first time? Then you have to wait another year. You have to do next year. You can reapply, but you can apply at this moment in time. You can apply as many times as you like. David's saying he can't see the offer price. Let's see. We'll get that to you. If you go into jvacademy.net/offer, you'll be able to get that. Uh, so it's in here. Gary, good question. Gary Hanlon, by signing up through tonight's price, does that register you for the exam? No, we'll give you a separate link to be able to show you how to do that. And any help you have, any help you need, our staff are there to assist you going through that. Because some people are concerned about how to be able to go onto that link and what the details in it. And it is quite simple. But we're there to help you with that, Gary. Gary O'Hanlon. Good to see you here, Gary. How much is a FIFA exam fee? Well, it's a this is the general figures we're getting, right? It's different in different countries, but in general, it's $100, €90, or £75, depending on where you are. Uh, okay, is there any particular topics or regulations that consistently appear in the exam? Great question. And that's from Andrew Young. Andrew, great question. In our course, we talk about the areas where there is consistent questions and the areas you should be studying. So when you go on the course, you'll get to understand what those areas are. Uh, and then here's another great question from Neil Davis. Neil, thanks for coming on tonight. Neil's asking, do you have to sit the exam every year? No, you just sit it once and that's you for life. But they do have continued professional development that you have to cover, and it's approximately 10 hours of work within a year. It's not too exasperating. I've just done it recently. You should get through that, no problems. Okay. Here's Andrew Young asking, if I pass the exam in June, what would be the best next step to begin operating as an agent? Come and talk to us. We'll take you through the next steps because it's not just about passing the exam. It's about when you pass the exam, come and speak to us and we'll tell you the next steps about how you're going. Okay. Tanzam Yusuf, what's he saying? I'm your big fan agent, John. Oh, I've got a fan. I'm happy to hear from you this evening. Good to see you, Yusuf. Tanzam Yusuf. Actually, I said it was £75. Paul's picked me up and gave me a, but still, I'll take this, Paul. It's £79. Well done. Okay. Uh, Here's a good question. Jaden Murphy's asking, what is the time for the pro course? Does it continue after exam? Yes, the pro course is on demand and open for a year, and you can go back and forward to that. So I'd like to speak to Andrew Paraday, Mr. Abbas, Jaden Murphy, Joe Boyd. These are another few people that have bought the course. Great to see you tonight. You'll be first on our list for people who will be getting the FIFA enrolled as the top people for the London event. And then, of course, someone's asking again how much the exam costs. $100, £79, or €90. Okay. Are there any hurdles beyond the exam that candidates should prepare for early? Good question, Andrew. You know, for me, I would be concentrating and trying to pass this exam through other hurdles. It's just that can come later. The most important thing is you need to get that golden ticket of passing the FIFA exam. Uh, and Callum, oh, good to see you here, Callum. I have just paid for the course. Thank you for look forward to working with you, Callum. Is it still? Yep. I'm looking forward to working with you as well, Callum. Um, Lee Beaumont's asking, he's already done the pro course. Does that affect the offer price? Lee, you would be as well speaking to one of the guys. Lee Beaumont, we'll come back to you and speak to you separately if you've already done the pro course. Marvin's in. It's good to see you, Marvin. Uh, okay. Duncan, he's just happy. He says, nice to meet you tonight. I'm a Manchester United and a Real Madrid fan. Good on you. Nice to see you. Um, ah, Here's Kenneth asking, what if someone has a 73% pass mark? What happens next? You failed. You need to wait till the next year. FIFA are very strict. That's why it's really important that you get those 15 out of 20. You have to put in the time and the effort to pass this test to get you in to get the license to become a football agent. And even if you're 74%, they ain't letting you in. Okay, Jefferson saying thanks for your share, everything. Jefferson, I hope you enjoyed your evening. Here's a good question. Is it enough time to finish your course and pass exam? A lot of people have been asking that, and I see it in many questions here. Definitely, if you put the time and effort in, but you need to put a lot of time and effort between now and the 18th of June. If you're not going to do that, Don't buy any course. And here's another thing that we say to people. We're a family business. We only want people who are serious about going to the next level. If this is just to buy a course to tell your mates down the pub you're a FIFA agent, don't buy it. We want people that we can teach who are serious, who have the time, who have the passion about change, who want to move from where they are to where they want to be, and us taking them to that next level, which we've done for many, many people worldwide. Don't buy the course if you're not serious. Uh, and somebody, Frederico, saying, is it realistic? It's difficult, but you need, if you put in the time, it will work. Okay. And Paul Bailey saying when he passed, he would love to work with us. Well, Paul, when you pass, that's when we have our next chat. We'll be doing Zoom sessions with all the people at pass and talking about what are the next steps. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Okay, Andy McGill, really enjoyed the webinar tonight. Thanks to all at JV. Terrific communication and guidance. Andy McGill. Andy, you make us feel good. I love when I see things like that. No, that means that we're doing something right. Thanks for coming along tonight, Andy. And lots of questions still coming in. Guys, as I said, there was over 300 of you on this webinar tonight, and try to answer them all. I'd be here till here in the morning. Okay. Jordan Williams, you've already done the pro course and agent exam course. Can I get the bonus pack and guideline? Jordan, contact our office and we'll see what we can do for you there. Okay, Andrew Young, last question, because you've asked it quite a lot. How much time should realistically dedicate per week? Oh, a good question to be ready for the exam. Andrew, that depends on how good you are at doing tests. Some people just need a couple of hours a day. Some people need 4, 6, 8. Depends on how good you are at taking in. When I'm talking about people about studying, it's not just about reading, it's about understanding what the questions are. Try and understand what all the whole course materials are. Because it's easy to read, but if you're not taking it in, then for me, it won't work for you. So everybody's different. It's a difficult question to answer. I had someone that only had a month to go and they passed it. And I had some people that have had 6 months and failed it. It depends on who you are and much time you're at. There's no such thing as to say that it's 10 hours a day or 1 hour a day. But for me, from now on in, you'd have to have a lot of concentration to pass the test. But it's like anything in life. If you really want it, you'll pass it. Okay. Uh, Okay, so somebody's asking, question is, if you've got a CCJ but no criminal record, is an issue with eligibility. CCJ, ask FIFA about that. Tell FIFA about that. On your put that. Be honest on your application, and they'll give you an answer to that. Prince Obeng, good to see you, Prince. Very insightful webinar. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. And here, Max Hattersley. Max, good to see you. Hopefully you're going to join us. Cheers for tonight. Really enjoyable. Look, if we come out of this and people have enjoyed it, people have joined us, people know who we are, we've done something right. But it's not about us, it's about you. Are you really ready to make that change? Are you really ready to think about joining a career where you get great satisfaction, where you've got your own man, nobody's telling you what to do? The world's your oyster. You can earn what you want if you become successful. And being in the football community, dealing with players. And instead of you watching Sky Sports, you could be on Sky Sports. Because that's happened to a lot of my people. So, question is saying, how do I pay now? And he put in the JVAcademy.net offer. And if you look at that, okay. So if you put in your browser JVAcademy.net offer to enroll, we'll tell you if you're in the top 10 to be able to get that bonus of being the first ones picked to be able to come to our London event. Great question here. If I'm a secretary of a club, do I need to leave and do exam? Now, it depends on the level of the club, but you have to let FIFA know, and you'd have to let them know quickly, because obviously we've only got till Thursday. If you're a secretary of a professional football club, you can't be a football agent. But if you were leaving and you're letting them know, that's a different story. Still a lot of questions coming in. Score prediction for the Villa game. I would love Villa to win 3-0. I would love that. So, guys, thanks for everybody coming along. I know you want to get to see the Villa game. It's been a pleasure seeing you all. My last thing is for everybody that's remaining, there's a lot of people still here. Put in the number 7, lucky 7, if you've enjoyed your session tonight. Okay, Max, Andrew, Robert, Andrew, Kenneth, Barbers, Afzale, Joe Boyd, good to see you, Joe. Patrick McCartan, I'm looking forward to seeing you soon on the other side of the world. I'm looking forward to you becoming a top agent. Okay, Mark Woodley, great to see you. Emmanuel, great to see you here. And Emmanuel's just paid. Raymond, Optimums, great to see everybody. I can't get through you all. Uh, Go and enjoy the Champions League, and I'm looking forward to working with you. And Andy, thanks for coming along and answering all those questions. Johnny Viola, my son, who is the top man in the background about doing all this, he put all this presentation together quite quickly. And I'd like to thank him as well. He's somewhere watching us before the game, maybe in a pub somewhere, I don't know. But thank you for putting this together. It's been excellent. And I hope to see you all soon. And thanks for everybody that's joined us. Thank you.